Wrong. Vice Chair Huynh is going to be chairing the meeting today.
Okay, I'm going to need all your help, okay? Okay, so I will call the meeting to order.
Great.
I will do a roll call. Commissioner Jeffrey Burke.
Burke, here.
And Commissioner Chris Kiramitsu.
Here.
Commissioner Jazz Sawyer.
Here.
And Council Liaison Dr. Richard Schneider.
I'm here also, thank you.
And Staff Member Margaret Lynn.
Present.
Great. Do we have any public comments and suggestions?
No, I did not receive any.
So communications, the first thing on the agenda for communications, City Council Liaison Communications. Dr. Schneider, do you have anything?
No, I don't have anything. I'm just happy to be here. Glad I was able to sign in. Looking forward to this meeting. It's my first meeting with the Arts Commission.
Nice. So then if Dr. Schneider has no comments, do any of the commissioner have communications? Anything to say? Or?
I just want to say welcome to Dr. Schneider for being here with us. It's always nice to have him here. And actually, as I understand it, this is probably the first Public Art Commission meeting that has been online. Is that right?
Correct.
So are you saying, Margaret, that it took COVID-19 for us to get the Public Arts Commission online? Is that what it took? Whatever it took.
That's what it took to get most of the commissions online.
That's all I have.
Anybody else?
Just I second Dr. Schneider joining us, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you everyone for being here. Chris, do you have anything? All right, so what about staff liaison communications, Margaret?
So the only thing I wanted to announce is that we have our housing element update workshops. So we have 2 of them scheduled. It'll be the same content on both days. So the first one is this Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. It will be online. You do have to register for it. So I will be sending you guys the flyer shortly, but you can also find the information online. So again, the first one is this Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. The second one is Tuesday, June 2nd at 6 o'clock p.m. So it'll go over basically the process that we're going to go through to update the housing element.
Sounds good. Okay, so next on the agenda is action discussions. So the minutes from January 22nd. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from January 22nd?
So moved.
Okay. Anybody second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. So meeting minutes from January 22nd have been passed.
Well,
the next
all
thing
in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. Aye.
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 Now is the motion passed? Okay. So the next thing on the agenda is to talk about approving the public art project on 1611 Spruce Street. So do I move to open a discussion, or how should we proceed?
Well, I could just give a brief introduction, and then we'll open it up for discussion after we do the presentation. Okay. So I'm pleased to present our first public art development project. The proposed project will be located at 1611 Spruce Street, which was approved for a 2,516 square foot addition to an existing 3,008 square foot residential building, a 90 square foot addition to the existing garage, and the construction of a new subterranean garage for 13 cars. The total building valuation is estimated at $594,000. Therefore, the 1% for public art is equal to $5,940. The proposed project, titled Birds in Light by Tim Carey and Christopher Slatoff, includes the installation of a sculpture comprised of 5 red-crowned parrots in flight around a tree. The 4-foot sculpture will include fused glass inserted into a metal sculpture resting on a pedestal. We have a brief presentation provided by Mr. Carey to describe the project in more details. So I'll go ahead and share my screen with you guys right now, and then we can go ahead and play the presentation.
Hi there, Tim Carey here. I am going to record this presentation, which will be short and sweet, for the art glass project that I am proposing with my friend and sculptor Christopher Sladoff for 1611 Spruce Street in South Pasadena. You probably have our document that shows some of these pictures, but also they'll probably be a little repetitive. And these are just sketches done in Photoshop to kind of get an idea of what the piece will look like. Of course, there will be obviously some changes and some potential tweaks here and there, but this is a general idea of what we want to do. It's a 4-foot tall sculpture that's made of metal and glass. The idea being that the fused glass that I will make will be the bodies and the wings of the birds, and there will be a trunk of the tree growing up upon which the birds will be attached. And the glass will be held in by the metal, and the light will be cast through it, sunlight overhead and ambient light, and ideally create some colored spray around the space. And now below it, you can see there's a bird bath or a pedestal, or kind of whatever we decide to in the moment put there, whatever the architects want. I think a bird bath is a good idea. It gives this viewer some distance from the piece so they can't walk up next to it. And it also relates to the fact that these are birds. Now, these birds are meant to reference the red-headed parrots that are all over South Pass. Fused glass is a great medium to display wings and movement. And as you'll see in some of my pieces, there's a really great opportunity to create an organic, flowing, colored, lit sculpture here. Here's a maquette that Christopher Sladoff made on the left, and then on the right is a sample of the fused glass. The sculpture is made here, but you can see that we're already sort of working through the idea of how to attach the birds and what type of metal to use, and that type of stuff. Here's some of my work. I wanted to just put a few pieces of my fine art work in here. This is all fused glass. Some of these pieces are thick, up to a 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch thick. And I'm a figurative artist, so most of my current body of fine art work has a figurative element to it. 2 recent pieces from 2020. These are also 2 recent pieces. The one on the left shows an installation with LED lighting, and then the one on the right is just a recent portrait that I completed. My studio is here in South Pasadena on my property, and I have a kiln, and I do all my fusing on site here, so it's very convenient. Here's a couple of pieces that I did. The one on the left while working at Judson Studios, where I was the creative director for many years. I worked there for 14 years, and I think I was creative director for the last 7 or 8. I left to form my own studio in 2018. And then the piece on the right is a public mausoleum in New Jersey window that I did. I'm currently working with them to do 14 more windows for the space. Here's some works by Chris Sladoff. I think he's my favorite. I know he's my favorite sculptor, and I think he is the best figurative sculptor in Los Angeles right now. He and I worked together when I was at Judson Studios, and I did the USC church designs. We did a bunch of windows for the Catholic Church at USC, and Chris did the sculpture for the crucifixion. But he has an amazing 3-dimensional skill, and I think it will really go well with my work. A couple of other figurative sculptures of his. So we've known each other for, I guess almost 10 years now. And so that's kind of the idea, is that he and I will work together. Obviously, there will be some development to do, design development and technical stuff. So we're asking for 12 weeks to finish the project, start to finish. Once there's an approval on this design, or if it needs to be changed, once that final design is approved, we'll need about 3 months to complete it. So thank you very much for listening to this. And if you have any questions, I can be reached via the contact on the proposal that you should already have in hand. Thanks very much. Hope everybody's well. Bye-bye.
Okay, so we also have Mr. Agius, who's the applicant, and then also Mr. Carey, the artist, available to answer questions. So I'll go ahead and unmute them.
Hello, everybody. I'm Thomas. Hey guys, Tim Carey.
Do we have any questions from commissioners?
I would like to get just a little bit more sense. I think the art, first of all, looks fabulous. I think it looks great. I like the fact that it's parrots. I think that's very South Pasadena. I like the fact that it's you, Mr. Carey. You're a local guy, and I respect everything that came out of Judson, and I have no questions about the art itself. I'm a little more concerned about how the art's going to be located and shown. And then I had one other question too. Did I hear? Because I don't know anything about the construction going on there. Did I hear 13-car underground garage?
Yes, that's
Is that right? What are you going to do with that? Just as I might ask, it's kind of a separate thing, but it's a big garage.
That's a requirement from the zoning code. If you need 2 parking places for each unit, and plus you need guest parking. So we're required to have the 13 parking spaces. Wow.
This is a multi-unit property then. It looked like a single family home, single family residence.
Yes, it's going to be a 6-unit multifamily.
I see. So is it going to be complete rebuild?
No, it's historic residence, existing historic residence, which is located on a multifamily lot, the zoning, and we're converting that to 3 units, and then we're adding 2 more units, and then the carriage house will be the 6th unit.
I see. But the facade will remain the same, so the rendering that we saw of the location of the bird bath should be kind of accurate, or do you have different renderings?
No, that'll be exactly what you see there.
I see. So here's the thing I'm concerned about location-wise. It's a beautiful piece of art. The plan sounded sort of vague about whether it's going to be on a bird bath or a pedestal or this or that. And the thought that immediately pops into my mind is, this thing could be easily boosted if it's not attached to the pedestal that it's on. It could easily be stolen. In fact, it certainly will be. Somebody's going to try to do that. Do you have any more specifics on how that is going to be situated and power and all of that?
Yeah. I can answer that. So my expertise is the glass. Chris Sladoff he's 40 years of sculpting, and he's an expert in metal and installation of that kind of stuff. We've spoken about it. His concept, his idea is to have the sculpture resting on maybe a 1/2-inch steel plate that it's welded to, that has between 2 and 4 threaded rods coming from the bottom. And then wherever we decide to install it, again, I think Thomas and I probably are agreeing that a bird bath is kind of a good idea, because not only does it give you that perimeter so that kids aren't running up and potentially banging their heads on a sculpture, but it's kind of nice to have a water feature and to have, this idea that there's birds and a bird bath. It's not too sophisticated, but it's a small leap. But so the idea being that if there was just a concrete bird bath that was either purchased or built, then all we would need would be a 2 to 3 inch thick slab of flat concrete, either poured in the center of the bird bath before you filled it up, and we would sink those threaded rods into epoxy, into drilled holes in the concrete. So it would never go anywhere. It'd be hard to move.
So you are going to have a concrete base of some sort to attach this thing with?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And power as well, because it's going to be lit somehow?
That's something that we have to discuss still. During the daytime, there will be light all around it. So you'll have a really cool opportunity to have just natural light around it. But at night, we're going to want light. Probably something Thomas and I spoke about, maybe having something in the ground, an uplight that just shoots up from, who knows where, in the front, depends on where he wants to put it, where the wiring is. But yeah, something at night that shines up and hits the wings of the bird would be kind of neat.
And finally, I don't want to monopolize the whole conversation, but finally, if it's going to be a bird bath, is this going to be plumbed or not? Will there be water?
No, it won't be plumbed, but yeah, it'll operate just like a normal bird bath, where you fill it up and clean it
by hand. Okay.
And as far as the lighting, you mentioned the lighting. We have provided for lighting near the base, so it will highlight it at night.
So how does that work exactly? You'll have an uplight somehow on it,
Yeah.
and where's that light going to be located?
It'll be about 6 feet to the side, and it will uplight it.
Okay. So well, it's going to side light. It'll light it from the side coming in.
Well, the whole structure is going to be about around 7 feet tall, including the bird bath. So the light is meant to uplight it, or not completely from the bottom, but sort of on an angle, probably about a 40-degree angle.
Okay. And that piece of art is, of course, going to remain on the property in perpetuity, right?
Yes, it'll be fixed, bolted to the ground. There'll be a foundation for the bird bath. Yeah.
Chair Fung, that's all I have.
Okay, well, like Commissioner Burke, I have no issues with the aesthetics. I think it's a great piece, and by established artists. But my concern would be safety. If it's multifamily use, would there be a perimeter? I'm glad it's a concrete base and it sounds pretty stable, but would there be some sort of perimeter or something in case there are little children running around?
Well, I think that's something that we can discuss. Perimeter, do you mean like another wall, like a wall around it, or because the idea is that the bird bath sort of keeps you, I mean, we probably would like to do something to discourage kids from wanting to jump onto the bird bath and stand on it. That's probably the biggest concern. So that's something that I think we need to kind of discuss. Depending on, what that looks like. But it's because it is important. I mean, granted, the sculpture will be sturdy. The glass itself can be upwards of a ½ inch thick. So it's going to be hard to break the glass and the metal. The biggest risk would just be some sort of walking into the sculpture somehow. Or maybe a kid trying to hang on it. That's the biggest risk. So I think we should think about that in terms of what the perimeter of the bird bath looks like. Maybe it has something that discourages climbing on it.
Right. Yeah.
We have it set into a garden with benches nearby and lots of hedges and trees and bushes. So no one would be able to run at it. I mean, maybe you can get a 3 or 4 foot running start. So I don't think it would be a problem that way where people would be smashing into it or little kids would be smashing into it no more than they would smash into anything on site, like railings or any other projections we have, architectural projections. So from that point of view, I don't think it would be a big problem. But I guess the other thing is climbing, but it's going to be, I imagine the bird bath would be about 3 to 4 feet high. So even as far as architectural requirements for climbing hazards or falling hazards, we need 42 inches. So we could make that concrete base not less than 42 inches.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the sculpture itself isn't going to have any ability to fall over. It's going to be a welded solid piece of metal. The glass will be encased in the metal where the birds are. So you could hang on it and it wouldn't go anywhere. But like Thomas said, it's no different than if you have a 4 foot high tree with branches sticking out. Somebody could always find a way to get hurt. But I think we'll have a pretty good idea as we go forward of how to make sure that it doesn't create a something that people are encouraged to jump onto or hang onto.
Right.
What is the height of the sculpture and the birds?
It's 4 feet from the base to the top. The sculpture is 4 feet. So the idea is that we would put that either on a 3 foot base to make it 7 feet tall, or so the birds are probably a little bigger than the life size of the parrots. My guess would be the birds are going to be about maybe 10% bigger than what those parrots actually are. And they're going to be, relatively abstracted. They're not going to you won't see the eyeballs and the beak. There'll be wings, green. It'll be that beautiful sort of colored fused glass that has that kind of feeling of birds more than it is descriptively showing a bird. It'll sort of be like a kind of a call to the character of the bird.
Hey, Tim, this is Jazz. I just had a question. Since there's going to be glass involved, is there any risk of anything falling from a tree? Is it close enough to anything that could damage the glass? And
yeah, that's always a thought, because it's, with glass, you've always got to be aware of that. But with this project, none of the pieces of glass will be bigger than this. About, probably 10, 11 inches by 4 inches will be the biggest, and they're all going to be about a ½ inch thick. So they'll be secured with metal into the sculpture. So it would take a pretty major rock to fall down and break one of those pieces of glass. If you guys have seen the fused glass or handled it, I'm sure Jeff has. You've been to the studio, and that stuff is pretty thick. It can bounce off a concrete floor. I've dropped pieces, and they're pretty strong. So I think the bigger risk is them falling out, and that's something that we have to make sure that we get the attachments right. So it's a good question, though. That's the thing I get all the time about glass.
Are there trees close by to it?
What's that?
Are there trees close by to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if a branch falls off a tree, is it close enough to hit the sculpture?
No, there's no mature trees like that nearby. There's, in the near vicinity of that garden, there's flowers, shrubs, maybe 5-6 foot tall trees.
Okay.
Nothing overhanging that could fall off and break.
that's great, because twice in 1 week, I've seen 2 large branches fall in the middle of the street. And luckily there was no cars parked there, but it does happen. I guess those termites get to it, but that's good. It's not near any potentially falling branches, because that would not be good.
I had one other thought. I know it said in the application where I read that the building department didn't see any need to be involved with the execution of this thing, but I'm a little surprised that pouring a footing and running electrical conduit doesn't somehow get involved under the purview of the building department. Do they know what we're planning on doing here?
Yes, they do. They get involved with, there's a certain amount of square footage, and I think it's around 300 or 400 square feet at a minimum. I can't remember what it was, but this doesn't qualify. So it's meant to give more freedom to someone wanting to put a shed in their yard or put an piece of artwork in their yard like this, where the building department wouldn't review it.
And actually, we did share all of the application information with the building division, and they concurred that they didn't need to do any further inspections or anything.
Sometimes when there's extensive lighting on a sculpture or a little small structure, they'll want to review it. But this has no lighting whatsoever on it. There's only lighting in the vicinity that's shining up on it.
Is Tim and the sculptor going to have a plaque on it?
That's a good idea. That's a good question. I mean, that is something we can maybe do on the base. Maybe there's a way to kind of put our names on the base, etch it in there. But yeah, I mean, it'd be cool to have our names together on there. It's the first time we've worked together. We've known each other for a long time, and we've dreamed about working together for 10 years. And how can we incorporate glass and steel? So it's pretty exciting for him and I to finally have something that that makes sense for us to work together on, because we got a lot of big plans about what we can do with glass and metal. So yeah, it'd be cool to have our names on there somewhere.
I think you should.
Okay.
Dr. Schneider's next career is going to be as an artist rep, isn't it?
Hey, he's been repping me for a long time. I can't remember how many times I've seen you out at the studio. You should be an expert in fused glass. Dr. Schneider.
By the way, Tim, we were in Kansas City last year, and we went and visited the church that you
Oh my
did.
gosh.
Oh.
Right, Overton, Kansas, isn't it?
Overland Park, yeah.
Overland Park, yeah.
Wow, what'd you think?
I was impressed. I mean, it was really, I'd seen it in pieces in your studio, but to see the whole thing was really amazing.
Oh, wow, that's great. Thanks for doing that. I hope they gave you a good, hope they welcomed you nicely there. They're nice people over there.
Well, actually, it was in the midst of a service, so they didn't say anything to us.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a great place. By the way, if anybody, anytime you guys want to see my studio, I'd love to show it. I'm just here on Magnolia Street and not far away. I built, converted my garage into a studio with a couple kilns, and it's kind of neat. It's like a little dungeon back here. So you guys are all more than welcome to come and take a visit anytime. Maybe when we get the project started and we get some glass going, you guys can come through and see it in progress.
Excellent. I mean, I guess I don't really have any specific additional questions. I guess the only thing that is a little hard for me to visualize, because you don't have a selected sort of base for it, or the fountain portion of the bird fountain. So it's a little hard to visualize, like, will it be like 7 feet tall or 5 feet tall, or, so I think that, and I don't know, I didn't look too carefully at the materials. I didn't know if there was a specific site plan for where this particular piece was going to be. You gave a decent visual of sort of where it goes in relation to the building and the front door and all that. But I think, I mean, we're all seem quite, in agreement that this seems like a reasonable and, beneficial public art project. Are we intended to vote at this point, or I'm not exactly sure what the procedure is at this point, since you guys are our first official project that we're
You're right.
about. Yeah.
So yes, you guys would take a vote to approve the project or not. So someone would need to make a motion followed by a second, then we would do roll call.
So I would like to make a motion to move on with recommend to have
You're
this.
going to move to approve, right?
Yes,
You're gonna move to approve the application?
yes, I'm making that motion.
Yes.
And I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Look at that. The
Okay.
first one goes through without
No
any
opposed?
conditions or anything. That's pretty great. That's pretty easy.
Congratulations.
You sure you don't have any
Thank you.
any pushback comments?
Got everything he wanted. Are you kidding?
Including a plaque.
What sort of timeline do you have for the project?
The project should be completed in about 1 year.
Oh,
That's great. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you. Thank you for all your comments and reviewing this, and thank you for your approval.
I hope it looks great. I live a block from there, so
Oh,
I'll be watching it.
Great. Yeah, thank you guys very much. So I'm super excited. I have I don't know if you guys know about this. We have a project that we've been trying to get going at the library, in the community room, the Ray Bradbury window. So that's been on hold now for a while, and I think we have an approved design for that. So now there's a race to see which one becomes my first public art piece in South Pass. So maybe the parrots will come first. So I'm excited to be doing something here. I've been here since 1997, so it's cool to be doing something that my kids can come around to and see for years and years, and it's kind of what it's all about around here.
What's the holdup with the window? Because we saw that a year ago.
I think it's that green stuff, that money thing. I think it's a money thing. They have to
Always a
raise.
money.
They need. They had committed some money from their general fund, but I don't know if something happened after Steve left, it sort of hit the skids a little bit. But I know that Kathy still wants to do it, Kathy Billings. I just haven't heard since the pandemic where they're at. But the goal is to try to get it done for the centennial of Ray Bradbury, which is in August. So that's going to be tough, but we can still do it I've put an email out to Kathy Billings, and we'll see where we're at. Because that one's ready to go. The design is done. Those are just panels. I'll do those at Judson Studios, so it'll be kind of a cool collaboration. So they're just trying to figure out where to get the funds from. I think that was the main thing.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, Doctor.
Thank you.
Chair Fung, should we move on to the next agenda item?
Yes. The next agenda item, do we want to excuse?
Yes.
Now forever.
Yo,
Unless you want to stay on Zoom, you know how much fun it is.
Fun.
Thank you again. Okay, so the next agenda is number 6, Art Resources Inventory. It is recommended that we review and discuss the Arts Resources Inventory. So we've been adding to it and adjusting it. What do you all think about that?
So just to let you guys know, as of right now, we have about 77 items listed on our inventory. So I don't know if you guys have been able to take a chance to see if you have any other items that you want to add to the list. If you want, I can also pull it up and share my screen with you guys.
Actually, Margaret, I may not have been paying attention, but I wouldn't even know how to access that. How would I do that?
I can send you guys the Excel spreadsheet again, but how about I pull it up right now so you guys can view it.
Okay.
So hold on one second.
Because it also reminds me that maybe there's a certain vinyl mural on Sycamore Street that I should probably be recommending to go in this inventory.
Okay. So let me know if you guys want me to scroll down or if there's anything that you guys think needs to be changed.
I keep trying to scroll and it's not going anywhere. It's
You can't control it. Just let me know when you're ready.
And this list is the result of all of us kind of collectively adding things that we knew about or people that
Correct.
we knew about. Because resources we're considering very broadly as like actual works of public art and artists and arts, like kind of facilities that might be available.
Right.
Okay.
Is Judson's their glass studio on this one?
I
they're not in South
think
Pass.
they are.
well, they do have the space on Pasadena Avenue. Rick.
Yeah.
What?
They have the space on Pasadena Avenue.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we have Judson Studios are in there.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
yeah.
We can continue to add to this, right? Like, there's no deadline or anything, no?
Correct.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure it was on everyone's radar. So, as you guys are
Okay.
sheltering in place, if something comes to mind, just shoot me an email and I can add it to the list. But I'll email this back out to everyone so you guys can take a look to see what's on there.
Okay. And the box art projects, like, I know that are they all sort of on there? Because I know that was one concerted kind of project.
Yes.
So, okay, cool. Okay.
Any other
Great.
questions or discussions on this item?
Not on this item.
Okay.
I think it looks good. What do you think, Jess?
Yeah, I think it looks good. I mean, I guess we can keep adding as we double check the list. I'm sure we'll walk around in the neighborhood and think about other folks. So yeah, let's just keep adding as we move along. But I'm glad it got some weight on it.
Yeah.
Better 77 than 7, right?
Thank you, guys.
Not bad.
You know, it would be nice to have a walking tour of South Pasadena where people could see all those things.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to divide it up into several tours depending on this part of the city, but you know, like we did for the utility box art.
I think that's a great idea. We may just have to wait a little bit until the disease issue kind of calms a bit.
Right.
But I do like the idea of that. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I had other questions, and not wanting to run afoul of Brown Act, I'm not sure exactly what we can talk about that's not previously agendized. But I was wondering, first of all, Margaret, if you had a sense of the budget is coming up for approval. And I know that we're in a tight situation right now financially, everybody is. Do we have an outlook for next year? Something tells me we may not be paying curators to put up a gallery in City Hall next year.
Yeah, so in light of the budget and then also coronavirus and social distancing protocols, and also the fact that City Hall is just not even open at this point, that is something that we'll have to take into consideration as we work through the budget for the Civic Center Art Gallery. We have been talking about potential, alternatives to the Civic Center Art Gallery. So if people aren't really coming to City Hall into the building itself, maybe we can do something else, maybe outside. So that is another option that we're looking into. So if you guys have any suggestions or ideas of what else we could do, preferably with a smaller budget, we're definitely open to those suggestions at this point.
I really like that idea. I mean, that recent 100 artists in LA, the Here We Are, We Are Here, that was great for people to drive around, look at the artwork outside. If we have it in the budget, that would be great, but I know we have priorities too, so. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to consider the transport of the art too, you know, back and forth, because we wouldn't want to damage or put something out of place, you know, that's not how the artist wants to present it. So that's going to require some folks, probably more than one person, to manage that daily, to bring in and out, or maybe it's just a weekend or it's a specific day. But we'll have to keep that in mind if they are going to be volunteers, and if they are volunteers, to ensure that the artist's work is protected. And so just something to consider if we're going to be moving the art back and forth, you know.
Right.
I had one other item that I wanted to ask about. So I was blind copied on an email to all of the city council members, and I'm guessing a lot of you were too, about a fellow who wants to donate a sculpture to the city and place it in the sculpture garden. Does anybody following along with me, or no? I'm seeing no? Tavo Olmos is the guy who sent the email.
Yeah, I did receive it. I didn't pursue it at all.
Margaret, do you know what I'm talking about? Or are you not
I
familiar with this?
haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Well, all right. It was sent to all the city council members. Oh, no, apparently not. I wasn't blind copied. I was just copied on it. All right. Well, in any event, someone wants to donate a large bronze sculpture that they would like to have placed in the over in the park in the, what's it called, the kids thing?
The Healing Garden.
The Healing Garden. I think they wanted to have it in there. It looks like it's appropriate for that. I can forward that to all of you, but I'm guessing that the reason I hadn't heard anything about that is that we're waiting for a council action to come our way.
Well, it hasn't been on any council agenda. I don't know if anything happened on that at all.
Well,
I tell you, reply to the fellow.
It would, Rick, do you think, or Dr. Schneider, do you think it would be all right if I forwarded that to the rest of the commissioners?
Yeah, please do.
And
send me a copy too, because I don't think I have it anymore.
I probably do, and this is something that I think we might take more interest in than most of the council. So maybe it's a good thing for us. Let me see if I can just forward this really quick. Well, I'll forward it as soon as the meeting's over.
Okay.
Everybody can take a look at it.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Do we have any additional business or comments?
None for me.
So, no.
Move to adjourn.
Yeah, I move to adjourn.
No, I move first. Okay, you can't move.
Okay, then I second you.
It's not a competition.
It's a competition, and I'm going to
It's
win.
always a competition.
The next time there's a horse statue, Vice Chair Lynn's going to vote for it.
Forget that horse statue.
I just want to say it was good to see all your faces again. And Dr. Schneider, again, thanks for supporting the commission here and sticking with us and getting past the Zoom technicalities. You are a real techie now, that's for sure.
I don't know why it didn't work the first time. I've been on council meetings and special meetings, and all of a sudden it didn't work for some reason. I don't know why.
Just to let you know, you're not in control.
That's right.
Well, thank you all.
everyone. Hope you're all well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.